myself, can't murder my ego. She heard of my deep stroke. She said, babe, does it hurt when I deep throat? Certified freak hoe, hang around dust and she learning my lingo. Back then, wasn't worried about me though. In the gym, trying to work on my free throw. Goddamn, spending money at the club like Sam's. Yes, ma'am. She a little freak on cam, but she don't put this on the gram. Little boy put this on the gram. I can't.
Yo, 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 what is going on? It is March 28th, Monday, and we are in for another edition of NBA Day Cap. Today we'll be breaking down today's slate. Did not have an NBA nightcap yesterday, so today we're going to make this pretty brief, short and sweet, as I only got try to keep the video to maybe like 10 minutes. So real quickly, let's quickly recap yesterday's recap. That's what it was. It was crap. Yesterday we went 2-2 on the board. Lost about 0.80 units, so a little less than a unit there. Puts us at 329 wins for the season, 273 losses. Still at hovering about plus 50 units for the season. Year to date, we're 219 and 172 at plus 46 units. But this past week or two have been pretty rough. Been having a couple bad reads on some of these teams. Quickly break down yesterday's picks. Let's just get the W's out of the way. We had Boston laying 6 at home. That was a pretty easy wire-to-wire win against the Wolves. Not much to add there. The second win was the Wizards. We had the Wizards at home as an underdog at +7. That was no sweat win as well. Wire to wire, Wizards were winning that game the whole way. Just the fate of the Warriors team on the road. It's just a terrible rest disadvantage for them, and they're just all out of whack. Although Wizards not a popular team, that was definitely a spot to take them. Let's see. All right, now going to the losses. Our max play did not come through. We had the Nets about I think it was like a -1, -2, and yeah, that was an L, and I have to admit that was a bad read. The rest advantage is pretty huge at this point of the season, and on a back-to-back against a Hornets team that like to run it up and down the court, Hornets have capitalized on these kind of spots where they're catching these teams off little to no rest, and these guys like to run it up and down the court, so they have a huge advantage in those situations. And Hornets were definitely the right side, and yeah, I thought maybe the Nets had enough energy in the gas tank in them to try to win this game, at least to get the win. But man, you could tell the shots were falling flat. They did come off a win against Miami on the road, so who knows, man? They probably were partying that night, turning up in Miami, came back home to Brooklyn, and you could see, man, their offense was not fluid. A lot of the shots were flat. Kyrie and KD had a pretty poor shooting night, so definitely the wrong side there. Hornets were the right side. The second loss we took was the New York goddamn Knicks. And for this one, guys, I believe the Knicks were the right side there, the right angle. Just got a bad bounce. I mean, this Knicks team is pretty known to implode in the fourth quarter. I didn't like that Julius was in, to be quite honest with you guys. I think the right play there was probably to take the Knicks early. I was so close to try and middle that game and take Detroit in the second half, but I couldn't get myself to do it. So that's the quick little recap for yesterday. Again, we went 2-2. Now moving on to today's slate, guys. Starting with Boston, going into Toronto, and I actually made this pick official, Boston +4.5, before all the crazy injury news popped up. So I'm definitely not endorsing to go with Boston here after all that, but I don't like pulling my picks, so I'm letting that Boston +4.5 ride. One thing to note, guys, I'm just going to briefly explain my reasoning for backing Boston here in the first place. To quickly break down the record, Toronto is a whopping 42-31 ATS going into this game. 3-2 ATS last 5. 8-2 their last 10. Toronto's been on a roll, coming off a huge blowout win against Indiana. I must say that we had Indiana in that spot. It was just a spot play, and it went terribly wrong. Big win against Cleveland the game prior. This Raptor team is on a roll, and with OG back, you know, I gotta buy. I'm gonna try to bet on Toronto any chance I could get with OG back. But this spot, well, quickly before we get into the reasoning, just to quickly update, as of right now, Boston is holding 54% of the tickets, but only 22% of the money. Toronto holds 78% of the money, 46% of the tickets. So a lot of big bettors, big money on Toronto, as expected with the injury news. Boston, on the other hand, is tearing it up ATS as well, 38-34 for the season. 4-1 their last 5, 6-3-1 their last 10. Coming off huge win at Minnesota, or at home against Minnesota. We had them there. And prior to that, they whooped Jazz's ass at home as well. This team's been on fire, guys. They're on a 6-game winning streak. 5 of those games they covered ATS. So the reason why I liked Boston in this spot, I don't like them anymore, is fading a team following a blowout win. 30 points or more is usually a plus EV spot. The Raptors are 0-2 ATS this season in this specific situation. If you look at all, you know, game logs for any team, anytime, just look at the games where they're blowing teams out 30 plus. More often than not, the following game they tend to be flat, you know, fat and happy off the big win, and usually don't cover. So that's one big reason why I like Boston in the spot. And I thought getting plus points with Boston in their current form, which is probably the best I've seen them this season, is value to me. Initially, I had Boston even with Tatum out, because there is theory to take a star player out, take the team with the star player out on the first game. The news tends to be overreaction by the public, and the line moves more than it should, and the role players tend to step up in those cases. But since writing this up, we knew the Time Lord was out, Horford's ruled out, but the latest update is Tatum and Brown are now out. So do I still like Boston? No, I don't. I need at least one of those guys out. I don't like Boston with Tatum and Brown out. I'm letting my plus 4.5 ticket ride. But would I be shocked here if Boston keeps it competitive? No, man. These guys are on a roll, guys. I mean, although, you know, their 2 best players are out, these guys are, you know, their supporting cast are still playing well. And, you know, result of them playing well is, of course, Tatum and Brown being able to get all the attention on them. So when you lose that for this Boston team, what do we expect? That's a very good question. We'll find out today. But I still feel like there is hope. This Toronto team has overlooked a couple, you know, some bad teams this season, with a couple losses to Detroit Pistons, a straight up loss to Oklahoma City Thunder, a straight up loss to Portland Blazers, and this is when they had Dame out, Jurkic out, everybody out. So, you know, I could see possibly the Raps overlooking Boston, you know, with all their stars out. They might think they might get an easy one, especially off a blowout win, a 40-point win. A lot of people are on Raps today, completely understand it. And I'm not endorsing to take Boston at this point with both those guys out, but I'm letting my ticket ride. And, just crossing my fingers. Hopefully Celtics can keep it competitive, at least maybe 1 or 2 possessions. What's up, Lunga? Today I'm going to bet my house. High expectations from you. Appreciate that, man. All right, guys, moving on. Again, I want to make these pretty brief. So, official play is Boston plus 4.5. I made this official on Reddit and Twitter before all the news. Again, I'm not endorsing it, but for the record wise, that is the official play. Boston plus 4.5. Next game. We have Golden State Warriors on the road going into Memphis. Memphis is laying 10.5 at home now. I made this official at -10. Just to quickly get an update where the tickets and all the money is going for this game. We have Golden State holding about 58% of the tickets, but only 15% of the money. Memphis is holding all the money, 85%. So huge discrepancy there, and it's completely understandable. Memphis coming into the season, I believe the best ATS record, 49-26, 4-1 their last 5, 6-4 their last 10 ATS, coming off huge wins, notable wins from, beating the Bucks, beating Brooklyn, and a couple of scrubby teams in between. But this Memphis team is legit, and this is all without Ja Morant, guys. On the other hand, we got Golden State coming off 2 L's from Wizards in Atlanta. This road trip is pretty brutal for them. We did decide to fade them yesterday and take the Wizards, and I know that probably wasn't a popular pick, but man, these guys are playing so many games within a short amount of time. This would be their, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4th game in about 6 days, 6 nights. 4th game in 6 nights, guys. That's not good. And I could see Memphis. Honestly, I expect this to be a blowout. A couple key stats here to the sport by pick. Last game of a road trip for the Warriors, which is a plus expected value, plus EV spot to fade these teams. One could argue usually when the road trip has been bad, they have the motivation to play hard on that last game. Not with this Warriors team, man. I think what I'm hearing from like Steve Kerr, these guys, they're pretty comfortable with their position in the standings, and I think they're going for the, as far as risk assessment, they don't want their players to get hurt. They don't want to over tire their players. So I don't think this team cares, man. And I think this is huge at this part of the season, trying to measure where their motivation level is for, each of these teams. And that's one thing I'm factoring is motivation and rest advantage. These are 2 key things I'm trying to target when picking a side at this point of the season. And I like Memphis here, man. They've been killing it. As I always say, these guys don't let up. There's no letdown spots. Memphis has broken a lot of betting systems this season because this is a young team. They continue to play well together, even with Ja Morant out. I think with Ja Morant out, I think this Grizz team is a bet on. There is a lot of value because some say, hey, without their star player, maybe these guys aren't as good. The people that are paying attention, they know this Grizz team without Ja is still really good. This is a last game of the homestand for Grizz, which is a plus EV bet on spot. You want to take the team on the last game of their homestand to close it out on a good note before going back on the road. And Grizz are 2-0 ATS this season on their last game of a 4-game homestand. So they've functioned well in this specific situation. One may ask, how does Grizz function as a double-digit favorite? They're actually 6-3 ATS as a double-digit favorite, so I expect them to blow these guys out. I like the Grizz. I made this one official -10. And I got 1 unit on this one. And by the way, for the Boston pick, I did put 1.5 units at plus 4.5. Again, not endorsing that pick, just for the record. That's what I have for Boston. Next game. We got the Spurs, San Antonio going into Houston. Spurs, they are laying -7.5 on the road. I believe this line opened at 6.5 for the Spurs. So we see about a 1-point line movement. Oh shit! It's actually at -9 now that that I just checked my Action Sports. So hopefully you guys took Spurs early. I posted these picks this morning. It was still at -7.5. Currently, the Spurs hold 66% of the tickets and 88% of the cash. That's a huge discrepancy. Rockets only hold that 12% of the cash. Yeah, I mean, it'd be really hard to see anyone that likes the Spurs today, which is also kind of scary because, man, likes the Rockets because you never really want to lay this many points with the Spurs. But taking a little deeper dive on this game, there is perfect reason why the Spurs are laying this many points. Houston comes in here 31 and 43 ATS for the season. They're 3-2 their last 5, 5-5 their last 10, coming off 2 big wins against the Portland Trailblazers, winning by margin. Prior to that, they did lose to Dallas. They beat the Wizards by 18. And it looks like they lose games they're supposed to lose. Houston, and they sometimes win games that they're supposed to win. San Antonio, on the other hand, they're coming into the season 37, 36 ATS. 3-2 their last 5, 5-5 their last 10. Big win, coming off a big win against New Orleans. Blew out Portland, and a 2-point win against Golden State on that 3-game road trip. This would be their 4th game on the road. I like Spurs here. Rockets, they lose by margin. This is the list of their last losses by margin. They lose by 19, 24, 17, 25, 13, 17, 15. This was our last 7 losses. So when this team loses, they're losing by a lot, and it's because this team is young, and they tend to compound mistakes. So when they turn the ball over, they miss shots. It's their chemistry's off. They start getting mad at their coach. This team's a mess, guys. And I think this is a great spot to fade them, especially coming off 2 wins against Portland. Although it's kind of pricey right now at -9. I think the Spurs take care of business and win this by double digits. So do I endorse taking the -9? I still would, but I never endorse taking a line that's already moved more than 2 points. It's just bad practice to do this long term. But in this specific scenario, I still think the Spurs take care of business winning this by double digits. Although the Spurs have been they haven't played a lot of close games. This Houston team is just bad, guys. Rockets are 12 and 20 ATS as a home dog. Spurs are 4-1 ATS straight up, and straight up in their last 5 meetings head to head with the Rockets. Spurs are in their best form right now. I kind of had a change of heart in how I viewed this team. I was kind of fading them after the whole Pop broke his record, but then they are actually right now have a chance to get in this play-in tournament that's happening in about a couple weeks. So I think the Spurs are motivated here. Rockets really have no reason, they mailed it in already. There's no chance this team has any chance to go to the playoffs. I like the Spurs here. I made it official -7.5. Personally, at -9, I probably would still take it, but I'm not going to endorse it just because I don't like advising taking a line after it's moving more than 2 points. And that's it, guys. I had 3 official picks today. I had the Celtics +4.5. Again, I wouldn't take that after the news, but it's an official pick. Explain my reasoning there. I like the Grizz -10 for 1 unit, and I have the Spurs -7.5 also for 1 unit. And I could briefly touch up on what are my thoughts for the rest of the games. We have Denver going to Charlotte. Initial lean was Denver. I almost made this official, but there were a couple key points that I kind of got scared off. I have my notes here. Denver's role as a favorite is not great. They're 8 and 9 ATS as a road fave, 20 and 27 ATS as a favorite in general. This would be their first game on the road following a homestand, so this is typically a fade spot for me. As it's environmental change, the hoops changed. Teams are not used to the court, so it's sometimes could throw a team off. So that's Nuggets in that situation. The Nuggets do have revenge against the Hornets. Hornets defeated them the last meeting. A lot of people like Denver here because Hornets' poor ATS records on back-to-back. But personally, I don't hold too much weight on that specific trend because at this point in the season, these back-to-backs, yes, they have the rest disadvantage, but as far as motivation goes, Hornets should be pretty motivated to continue to be competitive in these games and try to win it. In conclusion, yeah, this is just a stay off, but I had a strong lean on Denver there. For the rest of the games, didn't have too much notes. Orlando at Cleveland. I like Cleveland. I'm high on them, but 9 is too many points, guys. Poor Atlanta going into Indiana. Here, I lean Indiana because we're asking Atlanta to lay 8 now on the road. They're a terrible road team. And Indiana, I believe, coming off their worst blowout loss this season and probably ever. They just lost by 40 points to Toronto. So typically, teams following a blowout loss is a bet on spot. If we just look at any team's game log, any huge loss tends to be a bounce back. But for teams like Indiana, it's not a very strong team to consider this trend because they did lose to Memphis by 30 the game prior, so we expected them to kind of bounce back there, and they continue to lose by 40. So there's no way you can bet on Indiana here. Just like a Portland team, like if they get blown out, they could very well get blown out the next game. So that's a pass for me. Chicago at New York, I have nothing to say about this game. I have no lean either way. If I was forced to pick a side, definitely gonna go with Chicago. What's up, buddy? All right, almost done. We got Sacramento at Miami. I initially was leaning Sacramento here plus the 13 because it's a ton of points, and the Kings have been making me some money in the past couple games. I'm actually high on Sacramento without the star players in. I think there's a lot of value with the young team stepping it up. Davion Mitchell, I like DiVincenzo, those guys, Trey Lyles and crew. I really like this team. Miami is in shambles, guys. So I could understand the love for the Kings here. But one thing why I decided to stay off, this is Miami's last game of a homestand after dropping the first 3. So this is a very, very, very strong bet on spot, especially for really good teams. But recency bias plays a big factor in this. I can't. I've gotten burned by Miami the past couple of games where I expected them to bounce back and they didn't. But they should be able to bounce back here. Sacramento has been keeping it close, so it is a bunch of counter narratives for me. It's ultimately a stay off. If I was forced to make a play here, guys, I actually would lean Miami. Let's see what else we got. We capped Boston, Toronto. We capped Memphis, Golden State. We capped Houston, San Antonio, Oklahoma City, Portland. Not much to add to this game, guys. But if I was forced to make a play here, I would probably go with the Thunder. There's no way we could bet Portland rest of the season. And that's really what I gotta say about that. AK Sirs asks, what is the money on the Nuggets game? That's a good question. Yeah, let me get this is all coming from Sports Action Network. Currently, where the line sits, or where the handle sits for the Denver and Charlotte game. Currently, Denver holds 56% of the tickets, and they hold 72% of the money. It's a pretty big discrepancy. 44% of the tickets on Hornets, 28% of the money. So a lot of people like Denver. And for Atlanta, currently Atlanta holds 63% of the tickets and 66% of the money. So the tickets and money are pretty aligned with Atlanta. So that makes sense. I'm surprised it's not larger. I would probably think maybe 70-80, but maybe the really bad home and road splits for Atlanta is causing bettors to be a little hesitant. I get it. All right, guys. If no other requests for the money handle, that's all I got today. Again, official play Celtics plus 4.5. Again, this was made prior to the Brown Tatum injuries, so I don't endorse it, but I'm letting my ticket ride. We got Grizz at -10. Like this a lot. I had that for 1 unit. I expect Grizz to take care of business against this Warriors team who is in a very bad spot. This 4 games in 6 nights. And they've been on the road, guys. This is their fifth game on the road, so I expect the Grizz to handle their business there. Expecting blowout win. Spurs, we got the Spurs at -7.5. They're at -9 now. We have one unit on this. Simple fade the Rockets here. Again, they've been losing by margin, so I do expect Spurs to win here by margin, double digits at the very least. If the Rockets do end up covering here, I could probably see them winning straight up or losing by one possession. I don't see anything in the middle. They get blown out, or they win straight up, or lose by one possession. So there's that, guys. I kind of like these day caps a little bit better, short and sweet. Maybe just breaking down the picks that I'm on. Let me know what format you guys like better, the capping the night prior or the day caps. I think there's a lot more value in capping these games like during the day, because we have more information. A lot of these like overnight lines have been screwing me over lately with these last minute injuries. But if we do enjoy the day format better, it's going to be a shorter stream because I am streaming on my break. So that's all I got, guys. So let me know. Maybe I'll do a night cap tonight. If not, probably day cap tomorrow. I'll let you guys know in the Discord. Really appreciate it, guys. Again, bet responsibly. Use this information to ultimately make your own decisions. Just here to help and provide, my thoughts. So good luck, and let's cash today.